Real Madrid's summer of calm has suddenly been punctured by a single, explosive sentence on Spanish TV. "Madrid doesn't care," said Josep Pedrerol, and with that observation the quiet calculus at the heart of the club was exposed to sunlight. What Pedrerol described was not merely locker room tension but a choice. A global powerhouse that once bent to keep its brightest stars appears willing publicly to let a homegrown icon walk away if terms can't be met. That line, that the club could accept Vinicius leaving for free when his deal runs down, is seismic because it flips the usual script. Usually clubs panic at the prospect of losing a top attacking talent without a fee. Here, the message is blunt and strategic. The project, led now by Xabi Alonso and anchored by big investments like Kylian Mbappé, has a hierarchy and a wage architecture it will not dismantle. For Vinicius Jr., the story reads like a sudden reappraisal. The Brazilian, who once surged into La Liga as an untouchable, wild-footed force, has seen his minutes managed, his starts rotated, and his aura as an automatic starter chipped away by a coach who insists on squad balance and tactical cohesion. Those substitution patterns and a couple of benches that feel heavier than mere rotation have left a player and his camp recalibrating their stance. Reports say the camp has started poking around, quietly sounding out options, and, just as important in the modern media age, leaking their displeasure to sympathetic journalists in order to force movement. That leaking is a two-edged weapon. It signals intent to outside suitors while also applying public pressure back on the club. At the centre of the confrontation sits money, a comparison that is as symbolic as it is practical. The narrative going around is that Vinícius wants a new package that reflects the market's highest echelons, a salary level that would put him in the same conversation as Mbappé. For a club like Real Madrid, which has to balance legacy contracts, dressing room equilibrium, and the president's vision, meeting that demand could mean opening a door the board is reluctant to unlock. The blunt alternative, which Pedrerol framed starkly, is to hold the line. Accept the terms originally offered or leave. That ultimatum doesn't remove the player's leverage entirely, but it changes the dynamic from negotiation to calculation. Will Madrid value a symbolic concession more than the long-term wage structure and the coherence of the squad? The market consequences are immediate to imagine. If Vinicius decides to push, the transfer world will light up. Premier League giants who already eye world-class forwards could scent opportunity. Saudi clubs with vast resources could offer a wage bonanza that no European side can match in the short term. Or Vinicius could choose to stay, sign the deal on the club's conditions, and attempt to rebuild his standing on the pitch. Each scenario carries reputational and sporting implications. For Madrid, letting an elite player leave for free would be a statement of confidence in the project and a warning to other stars. For Vinicius, the choice will be about legacy, staying to fight for the club that elevated him, or taking the route that many modern stars choose when confronted with financial parity and certainty. Beyond players and contracts, there is a cultural rift here. Clubs historically prided themselves on keeping their icons. Modern football increasingly treats player power and commercial realities as co-equal. Real Madrid's reported calm, its willingness to accept a potential free exit, reveals a new calculus where institutional plans, managerial vision, and a defined nucleus, the coach, the marquee signings, the tactical core, trump sentimental attachment. That could be the most consequential element of this drama. It signals to the market and to Madrid's dressing room that no individual, however adored, sits beyond the project's needs. Whatever happens next will be watched not only in Spain, but across Europe. If talks restart and both sides find common ground, the narrative will become one of reconciliation and renewed purpose. If no deal is struck and the player chooses to bide his time until 2027, clubs will line up, agents will strategize, and what started as a contract dispute will turn into a full-blown transfer saga. Either way, a fundamental truth is now evident. The era of automatic assumptions is over at Real Madrid, and one of football's most electrifying talents faces a choice that will define the next chapter of his career and leave a lasting mark on the club that made him a star.